I have been introduced as someone who has worked majorly a part of my life. Out of 3 decades, I have worked majorly into financial sector, I would say. Having worked in banks like HSBC, Standard Chartered, and IDBI Bank in India. I will just narrate one story before I start my keynote address, which is actually not a keynote, it is just a chat and talk which I would love to do with all of you. So, my first interaction with somebody from Sri Lanka was in Mumbai. So how many of you know Jacqueline Fernandez? All of you know, I'm sure. Huh? So she came to my office in 2008 and she was my customer, in HSBC in Mumbai, Bandra branch. And because I was the branch manager for that branch in Mumbai, and she had an account, so she had come for financial planning. All our existence today is all revolves around one thing, which is finance. Whether we accept or don't accept, but our every pursuit, whatever we do, revolves around one thing, which is what? Money. So, let me ask you a question. How many of you love finance? So 3-4 people I can see. Some love finance. So some people love finance. That's a very normal routine thing. Now my second question would come to you, which will excite you, is that how many of you love money? Everybody loves money, I'm sure. So nobody will say I don't love money. So on that note, this is the gap which we have, the bridge which we want to fill that bridge, that gap, when we impart education. I was just doing some study, and of course we have a team of people who keep on doing work on SDGs. Now, Sustainable Development Goals, 8 out of 17, are focused in an indirect way on financial inclusion. Because without financial inclusion, you can never achieve SDGs. Let me tell you very honestly. So, it is positioned actually prominently as an enabler. Financial inclusion, financial literacy is whether it is an individual, it is a family, it is an enterprise, business, or even government, they all can fail for nothing but one reason, which is poor financial management. A family which takes a lot of loans, lot of borrowings, without seeing their sources of income, might fall into a trap. So, for achieving SDGs 2030, I strongly believe that our understanding of financial matters from a very early stage is something which we all should work for. And all of you are academicians, you are from the education background, education sector. Now, how much are you focused into that education? And unfortunately, the situation is that nowhere at early stage we don't let children talk about money. Children are always told about focus on your exams, focus on your scores, marks, otherwise you won't get admission, you won't get job. So their focus is entirely on learning, which is more, of course, now it is new age skills, practical learning, but still the rote learning is still very prevalent. We do not look at how we make them practice. When I ask a question to a lot of students who come to me for interviews and all that, internship, they come to our organization, and I ask them very basic questions, which they all have studied in economics and commerce, in their class 7th, 8th. Even if I ask some of you also, all of them might tell you about theoretical part of it. But how that theory is to be applied in practice? What is inflation? We all know about inflation. But how am I prepared for inflation? As an individual, as a family, as a company, as a government? How price rise is happening, how it is impacting, and what can I do? Other than cribbing or shouting, screaming, claiming, complaining about, oh my God, price is rising up and on. What have I done as an individual? Have I applied my knowledge, which I learned in class 6th, 7th, 8th, which was taught to me, and I have passed my exams with a lot of learning? have I done that application of that knowledge into my personal finance? Let me tell you, very sorry state of affairs, it doesn't happen. And which is where we, at our organization, which is Awoke India, we come into play. I set up this organization in 2012, which is primarily for the purpose of disseminating financial literacy, financial education, financial awareness. In 2018, we got recognized by Securities Exchange Board of India, which is a government body regulator of stock markets, brokers in India. They recognized us as the only investor association which is working in this mission of financial literacy and awareness. So we have a lot of MOUs with colleges, universities, organizations, where we regularly conduct such workshops which are not theoretical workshops, which does not lead you to any certification you may get, but more than the certification, has it brought some more money in your pocket, in your wallet? That is the test of the pudding, as they say in eating. So if it has grown your money in some way, that is what we want to achieve. If end of the 3 months of doing a program, if you don't see that my money has grown or degrown, or I have got better understanding of the money part, that is the test of this whole exercise. So, I'll just read out some of the SDGs which are there. One is that, of course, eradicating poverty is one, ending hunger, achieving food security, promoting sustainable agriculture, promoting health and well-being, SDG 3. SDG 5 is achieving gender equality, economic empowerment of women, promoting economic growth and jobs is SDG 8. SDG 9 is on supporting industry, innovation and infrastructure. And last but not the least, SDG 10 is on reducing inequality. Now all these 8 SDGs you can again put in front of you on your table and a soft board and remind yourself about this, that only by financial understanding you can achieve any of these goals. Whether it is economic empowerment, how will a woman or a girl child feel empowered or confident to face this world if she doesn't have money? So, having money and having the knowledge to manage money has to be taught at early stage, which is very, very important for all of us. There is SDG 17 which talks about strengthening the means of implementation. And that is where there is an implicit role of financial inclusion through greater savings mobilization. So how you save. Now saving is not enough. A lot of us save. We keep money at house. But if the money is being eroded, your money becomes a trash because government has not done a good job. Inflation is up. So how you increase savings which can support overall economic growth and achievement of development goals. For example, digital finance alone, that could benefit billions of people by spurring inclusive growth that adds to about $3.7 trillion to the GDP of emerging economies within a decade, and this is a report by McKinsey Global Institute. For example, in Sri Lanka, the literacy rate is very high. The Honorable Minister of Education just shared that literacy rate has gone to 94%. In India also, if you look at southern part of India, literacy is very high, northern literacy is low. We have also reached about 70%. But if we talk about financial literacy, Sri Lanka, anybody knows what is the financial literacy rate? Sri Lanka? So there is a study which is there, and in Sri Lanka, the financial literacy is 35% only. So there are parameters which define, I have the data for all the countries, in fact Bangladesh and Thailand and other South Asian countries also. But the point I want to make here, India has about 27%, and there again, gender-based financial literacy again differs. Women are still, while they are good savers, but they don't manage money. For most of them, who does it? Husband does it or father does it. They only earn. Management in terms of savings, budgeting, investing money for growth, and then Last stage is what? Passing your money to the next generation. Now that becomes a big challenge. You know, passing your money to the next generation after you are no more in this world, that step we all forget. In India, 1 lakh, thank you man. So I'll tell you, how many of you have written a will? If I can ask you a question, anybody's written a will? Even will is what you write for your next generation, your wealth, how you distribute your wealth, or they keep fighting after your death. Because nobody thinks death is happening. You know, nobody thinks death is actually a reality. So the point here is that generally, whatever wealth we create by whatever profession or whatever pursuit we do, that wealth becomes a matter of disturbance, matter of fight, matter of huge amount of tension after you have gone, because you have not been able to put it on paper that how this wealth should go in the hands of next generation. So that is what is called will. In India, if I give you one figure, I'm sure big figure for all of the countries. In India, total money lying in accounts which are unclaimed accounts. There are no claimants to those accounts. Any guess how much money will be there? Unclaimed accounts? How much? I don't know. No idea. Okay. So I'll just tell you a figure, which is a published figure as of 2020. 1,40,000 crore rupees is lying, which is unclaimed. There are no claimants. People have died in COVID, and this money has grown double. You know, in 2 years, it was 70,000 crore. It has become double. People had some accounts. People had some bank fixed deposits, bank accounts. They had shares, mutual fund, insurance policies, all that. But they were working hard. They never had time to tell their families, boss, I have this much. So families studying, cooking food, doing all that, and the gentleman or the lady is working hard, never telling that, sharing that information. How many of you talk to your families about finance? Raise your hand, please. How many of you talk to families about finance? And that happens very irregularly. While people who are 2-3 hands I can see, it never happens like this summit. That okay, on 9th of July, one day, block your diary, we have a financial summit in my family and we will discuss that, okay? So while we board a flight and come here and discuss about education, but do we take out time seriously with a diary and pen and paper that what is finance, is my family knowing about it or not? So that is the question which I want to raise to all of you when you teach children, when you, I think, so that is very, very important mission, and let me tell you, in India there has been a huge transformation with the Jan Dhan account, which happened, 45,000 crores account opened, okay. Then we have, now there is another big mission which is happening by 2024 on financial inclusion. So at the bottom of the pyramid, people are at least opening account now, which they were never had. I was talking to 3 of the ladies just now who are teaching in free school and in Mutuana, and what is the name? What is the place called? Where fishermen live? What was the name of the place where I was talking to 3 ladies just now? Okay, so that place where fishermen live, you know, and they are teachers for free school. Now what I'm saying is that if you teach them these basic skills early in life, not by theory, but by practice, I think you have not only made one individual take informed decisions, but that girl or that boy will make the family also informed, because once the money starts coming, they start feeling empowered, they start feeling, you know, happy, and that leads to the prosperous society.
Financial literacy has become very important in the educational context these days, and CBSE has made it not mandatory, but we have to give this literacy to teachers as well as the students.
Correct. So clap for Rashmi Tyagi madam. I think clap for her. I think she has brought an important point. Central Board of Secondary Education in India has been pushing for this for long. Even children were getting mobile, television, laptops as rewards for taking part in financial literacy programs. But still, let me tell you honestly, I have been to a lot of schools. Schools have not been showing that kind of a seriousness. So it will not happen unless I think we all as educators go deep into it and understand its importance. And for teachers also we are doing programs. We are doing programs for IITians. Yesterday I was, yesterday I had a meeting with a very big medical university, and I met the Vice Chancellor of KGMU, King George Medical University in Lucknow, and he was very keen after listening to our this thing. I said, I want to do it for paramedical staff and your staff. He said, no sir, you first do it for my top end, which is my senior most faculty. And they have some 1,000 people as faculty in that university. 1,000 people, can you imagine? And they're saying we will do it for faculty first and then we'll go down lower, because it flows from the top. They have to understand. So point I'm making, and very important point Madam has brought in, is that whatever the institutions can put it or boards can give it, but up to us to implement it. And of course we are here to see that how SDG 4 as a quality education does not remain only as an education which is formal, functional education, functional literacy. It also involves the component of financial literacy. So I think that is what all I had to share. I hope I have not taken much time. Yeah, you have a question? Thank you very much. Yeah.
I have a question
Please, ma'am.
related to education.
Yeah.
Do you give some data regarding unclaimed? Okay. Thank you. So, sir, you gave some data related to the accounts where the money is remaining unclaimed. So, what exactly is being done for those accounts?
Correct.
Is there any utility of that money? Which is
Absolutely. That's what's her name, ma'am?
I am Sri Lekha.
Yeah, Sri Lekha, ma'am. So clap for her. I think a very wonderful question. First, it's important that some questions do come. That means your thoughts are moving in the direction that what is happening to that money which is lying there unclaimed. People have died. Suppose they pay 4 premiums of one policy, insurance policy, and then died. Nobody knows in the family, and money is lying there, because it is not incumbent upon that bank or insurance company or share to reach out to you, the nominee or the successor. No, they will not do anything. They will keep that money idle. Now, what government has done, at least I know for India, here also I'm sure there is a trust. So for both, for monies lying in the capital market or in the banking system, there is a trust which is called Investor Protection Fund Trust, so that money shifts into that account after a period of 6 to 8 years, period varies, and from that money the government does programs, education, people and all that. But even if after 20 years you come back and claim your money, money will be given to you. But at least those institutions are not enjoying that money free of charge, because that becomes, if you are given 1,40,000 crore, you'll be very happy, because if you are a bank, because a lot of banks do not have that much money also. So even Reserve Bank of India, which is the regulator for banks in India, RBI, they also have a similar fund called Depositors Education Awareness Fund, DEF Fund, which is again from this amount. So this amount actually is shifted to that, and from there, government does this program. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir, please.
Just wanted to share.
Okay, as this conference is related to the, education, and especially for ECCE, for children.
Early, yes.
So how we can do it for them? So I'm giving an example. In Mumbai, we have got Kidzania. Yeah. Most of the Mumbaikars, they know, we take our children there, and there are the banks, and the whole day the children are there, and when they go to the bank, they get some money, and they sit there, maybe as a manager, maybe as a cashier, and that way they learn it. So maybe your literacy idea for the financial literacy idea for these children, you can have that kind of a module for them.
Correct.
Because you know so much.
No, absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. I think that's very important, because we are doing that. Kidzania is one concept. We have one of our senior trainer in Mumbai, Tripti Kumar. So she some programs. We take them to banks, children to visit the bank. So that is what we do. Yes, sir, please.
I just wanted to share that the financial literacy part. In my old school, what I did was for classes 8th and 9th, our school was banking with Bank of Baroda. So we opened accounts for all the students of 8th and 9th. And once in a month, they used to go to the bank, take out those things, because as a person, I never knew which slip I have to fill up.
Correct.
Right, so we started teaching them this from 8-9 onwards. Though the commerce is in class 11, but we started from 8-9 for these students. And they were asked to bring money in deposit, right, from their pocket money. They don't have to ask their parents. Whatever their parents had given them earlier, that pocket money was coming and being deposited here. That was being managed.
Absolutely. I think we must clap for that initiative. So these are the things, I think lot of things can be done, which I'm sure all of you are doing. But what I'm saying, I think at early stage, early education, how we can bring this idea into children's mind and not only learn them the theory part but practical part of it, which is important, you know. Yeah, please ask a question. Yeah, you want to ask something?
So as you might know, we at Sri Lanka are currently facing a crisis. So what do you suggest our kids now, since we are with the early childhood kids, what do you suggest we can teach or do to the kids to make them, you know, make the future generation come out of this crisis and save something and do something, you know, something useful to have financial management? What do you suggest us to teach the kids? What is the best thing we can do?
Right, right. What's your name?
Amrish Meena.
Amrish. So clap for her. I think very important question. I know anywhere governments are having debt to GDP ratio of 300%, 400%. Countries like Venezuela, Greece and all, where for example, if I am an individual, I have suppose my net worth of 100 rupees and if I have taken a loan of 400 rupees, what will I do? What will my children do? You know, so they will all keep cursing me. So what I'm saying, what question she asked is, what should we teach to the students so that they can actually make their future bright, contribute to the country's prosperity also in some way. So what is very important, one is that of course savings is important. So even if you are earning 1,000 rupees, Sri Lankan rupees or whatever, please first thing is at least save 10%, so 100 rupees you have to save. Now those 100 saved because they are subject to inflation. Inflation, if that 100 rupees which you have saved is suppose earning in your savings account, what is the interest in savings account? Somebody can tell me from Sri Lanka? Savings account interest rate, how much interest you get in Sri Lanka?
14%. 14%.
That's not on the, that's on the It's very low, like 3%, 5% of saving.
4%, yeah. So 4%, it is 4% interest you are letting your money earn 4%, and inflation in your country suppose 15, 20, 30%, that means your money is eroding very fast. So every year, 5 you earn, suppose you earn 5% and inflation in the country is 20%, so you are minus 15. 15 rupees you are losing on your 100 rupees saved. So the first objective of your savings should be all of us. And we actually have a book called My Finance Diary, which we recommend. It's on our website, Avok India Foundation website, which we distribute. There are books also which we distribute, physical copies, and we make them one objective of your financial planning. One very simple objective is to beat the inflation. How you do that is a tougher part, but at least don't keep your money where you are getting less than inflation in the country. If country's inflation is say 10% and your money is only earning 5% and you are very happy that I am saving money, no, you are heading for a disaster. So, and that is your journey begins for financial literacy, and later on it's a very big subject, so I can certainly connect with some of you. You can write an email to me. My email ID is there on that, Pravin Dwivedi at avokindia.com. My website is very simple, AWOKE, avokindia.com. There you got our mail IDs. So we can share some booklets, some amount of exercises which you can do, some amount of concepts, so all that. And in case you feel, yeah, please, last question we can take because I'm sure there are keynote speakers. Yeah, please. Please do share your name so that everybody comes to know your name also. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, sir. Very, very relevant in any economic situation. My name is Ritika Subhash. I'm from Delhi and I'm from the background of mathematics here. So this is also very interesting to me. Just wanted to add something that I was sharing with my friends here. Because there is a lot of population here with early childhood, and early childhood means age 3 to 5, you can't be talking to them about inflation, savings, it's just not possible. one of the smallest things you can do is encourage your parent community to take the children with them when they are going out shopping for groceries, for anything. Rather than leave the kid at home with a phone to keep them busy, take them out into the market transaction area and let them observe. Ages 3 to 5 children are very observant. You don't have to tell them, I'm giving them this much money. They will observe themselves. Just take them along with you when you go grocery shopping. This is something that I tell a lot of parents of EC age group. And you will see, slowly they will start understanding this whole transaction of money, being able to buy things, for them to be able to enjoy luxuries with finances. So let's start building the concept from there, because that question came and ma'am, you said, what can we do for our early children? Let's maybe begin there, and then of course what sir is suggesting is all very relevant for our age group as well. So,
I think wonderful clap for Ritika madam. It's very, very important points you brought in for 3 to 5 year age group, because they are the most observant of the age one can have. Beyond that, our attention span goes down and down. It comes to only 3 seconds. 3 seconds is the attention span, but those kids are actually very observant, and she has really brought out a very important point, that how we take them to the,
I just need to add on to this.
Yeah, please,
And
please.
I just think on the same lines, my name is Bharti Mohan. Since we are catering to our focal point is early childhood care and education. To answer your question, the children don't have the concept of money. Like she said, we have to actually make them witness the transactions happening, for them to understand the value for money. For that, first thing is developing or instilling or inculcating thrift habits. Buy them, what do you call it? We call in Hindi, gullak.
Piggy bank.
A piggy bank.
Piggy bank, yeah.
Okay? Teach them how to make it. It could be made out of any craft things. You could make it out of a bottle or a box or anything. Make a piggy bank. Involve children making that every day. Pay them for those small errands and small jobs that they do for you. Like get me a glass of water, whatever. You fix up, Or maybe you could give them a star. Okay? Something not materialistic. And later on, once you get 10 stars, you'll get 1 rupee coin or whatever, So that's how they start learning the concept of money and the numbers, Unko nahi pata hote hain. So what we do is generally, we try and teach them buy and buy through non-materialistic things, then transacting them into. And also, one more thing, role play. When we take them to the bank or when we take them to a place like Kidzania, where they act as a bank manager or somebody is a cashier, somebody is an accountant, we ask them to make their own notes, currency. Or at school, once they're in first and second standard, we have something called tuck shop. We ask them to involve the parents and make some small packets of maybe peanuts or maybe some chana or whatever, ground, whatever, small snacks, They get those packets and then they make those fake money, okay? And the currency is exchanged, and then that's how they get the concept of money.
Thank you, Bharti. Madam, I think
I have to say, for my kids, I have a star chart. So
Right.
when they do something good, they get a star, and when they get 10 stars, what she told, I got up to tell them.
Right.
When they get 10 stars, they get some money, and when they go
Right.
with the parents to the market, they can buy from that.
Right. So that's very important point. I think that's it. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you for your time. I think it's been pleasant talking to all of you.